Hello and welcome to another video on daily weather charts. These videos diagnose the current weather pattern and discuss how that pattern is going to play out for the upcoming day. Today's charts are valid for June 15th, 2023. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe and we'll get started. And I'm going to start today a little bit differently with using the long wave infrared imagery. And what this is looking at is the temperature of our cloud tops as a result from strong convection. And you can see the brighter colors here. For example, in the southeastern US, the brighter colors here indicate that higher cloud top, which is more indicative of our stronger thunderstorms. And so what this is showing is some really strong convection over the southern United States as forecasted today, and that has brought a pretty significant severe weather event. I'm going to show what the radar currently looks like up through about midnight Thursday morning. And you can see thunderstorms have merged into one band of storms that is moving through central Florida, and another round of storms that is developing in behind that once again through Mississippi, and that's going to be tracking through Alabama here in just a moment. And so that's kind of the situation we're looking at right now. And then I'm going to show the severe weather reports from earlier today. This is as of Wednesday evening, late Wednesday evening. And you can just see the different swaths of that the severe storms took today. So you can make out kind of one round of storms that was here in North Alabama kind of late Wednesday morning into the early afternoon. Those produced some pretty significant hail and damaging winds with large hail up to 3 inches in diameter in some spots, and damaging winds in excess of 75 miles per hour. And then you can make out another really big swath of severe weather reports. This was a pretty big round of storms. There were even some discrete supercells that developed in South Alabama and southern Georgia earlier this afternoon. And those produced all hazards of severe weather, including damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes. And some of the radar imagery looked pretty intense earlier this afternoon. So we'll see. The National Weather Service will conduct surveys, of course, and determine how strong some of these tornadoes were. There were some confirmed tornadoes from those storms. And then we also see another swath of severe weather reports down from northeast Texas down into Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So we had a very active severe weather day with almost up to 500 reports of severe weather. For June, that's a pretty active severe weather day for the southeastern United States. So I'll go over the current severe weather outlook. So I'm going to look at the day one outlook, and this is valid through 7 a.m. Thursday morning. And the Storm Prediction Center maintains a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk from southeast Arkansas, northeast Louisiana, down into southern Georgia and northern Florida, mainly for a damaging wind threat and large hail, although there could be an isolated tornado or two from southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and the Gulf Coast region, essentially. But I think at this point, damaging winds is the main concern. And storms are going to be banding together, so that's going to increase the damaging wind threat. So that is most of the background information from what has happened earlier today. So now we're going to look into our upper air maps for today. And we're going to start by looking at the jet stream. And today the jet stream is located from southern high plains all the way through the Tennessee Valley and the southern Appalachians. And then we also have some northwesterly flow aloft here over the Gulf Coast region, and that is going to be creating some strong upper level divergence. Here you see outlined or contoured in yellow. And what that's going to do is the wind vector splitting apart is going to create a void in the atmosphere. And the atmosphere doesn't like that void, so it's going to bring air up from below this level, and it's going to fill that void. And that's what's creating their strong upward vertical motion in the atmosphere. And that's what's helping to to enhance the longevity of some of these storms today. And that is also assisted by some strong 500 millibar flow. We have a broad swath of 50 to 60, even 70 plus knots of flow across across the southern United States today. And that is really strong for June standards, as I've discussed in the severe weather discussion video from earlier today. And along with the zonal west-east 500 millibar flow, we have embedded shortwaves in the flow that is helping to initiate these individual rounds of storms. So we can kind of make out one over the deep south in the Gulf Coast region, over Georgia and Florida, and then perhaps another shortwave over the lower Mississippi Valley, and then another shortwave that is moving through the West Texas and getting into western Oklahoma. So we just have these short waves lined up one after another, and that's going to maintain additional rounds of thunderstorms as we go through the next several days. And in fact, I'll go ahead and show what the convective outlook for Thursday looks like. This is valid from Thursday, 7 a.m. through 7 a.m. Friday. And we have two main areas that the Storm Prediction Center is currently concerned about for severe weather. One down here across the central Gulf Coast region, and then another slight risk of severe weather outlook for Kansas down into central Texas. And I'm recording this just before the new day one outlook is going to be put out. So by the time you're seeing this recording, this outlook may look different. But currently that's where the severe weather outlook stands. And so going back to our upper air maps, this is at 850 millibars. We're looking for any cyclonic flow or the low-level jet. And we don't really have we do kind of have some cyclonic flow around here and across the northeastern United States. And then over the southeastern United States, we kind of have this suppressed low-level jet, sort of, with 20, 25, even 30 knots of flow over the Gulf Coast region. That's really helping to pump up or transport the warm, moist air mass over the Gulf Coast and up into the deep south region. And we can see what that moisture looks like. We have a pretty broad swath of 70 degree dew points across much of the southern United States, except for parts of Alabama and Georgia, where storms have really sapped that surface moisture. You have dew points falling into the 60s behind those storms, but ahead of those, you have dew points that are really high up there, up into the mid and even upper 70s, and even some low 80 dew points down here in South Texas over here. So that's a pretty deep surface moisture that we have over the Gulf Coast, and that's just going to keep the atmosphere very unstable and supportive for additional thunderstorms to develop over the next several days. And so we have, for our frontal systems, we have a couple different low pressure systems, one centered over New York over here with a cold front that's trailing down into the mid-Atlantic region. And then we have a secondary cold front that is pushing through the northern interior of the United States. That is helping to bring a continental polar air mass down into the upper Midwest. We have another low pressure system that's organizing over West Texas with a warm frontal boundary that is centered somewhere across the central Texas vicinity. And that's really going to cover it for today's video. Since we're in a pretty active weather pattern across the southern United States, I'm going to most likely keep uploading content on this channel daily. So keep an eye out on this channel, as we're going to be expecting additional rounds of storms to develop over the next several days. And so that's going to cover it all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.